My goodness, I'm starting to look like the wild woman of the West. Seriously need to look at getting a haircut. But hello, how are you? What does success as an author look like to you? One of the biggest barriers authors face in getting their books finished and released out to the public so they can be enjoyed by others is their concern that their works are just not good enough. Writers nearly always compare what they're writing to the wonderful authors that they read, and that doesn't always help. Instead of being an inspiration to those newer authors, reading the works of some fantastically great authors actually becomes a barrier to them stopping from finishing their work themselves. They just give up. They say, it's just not worth it. And they don't ever finish. And that is such a shame. So today, in an effort to remove that barrier, at least partially, or make you change your perspective of it, I want to ask you about what does your success as an author look like to you? We're all different, so it's going to be different for every one of us. But if you can identify those personal levels of what you consider successful in relation to your writing career, I really think that'll help give you the motivation to move forward and make it, so you're less prone to comparing yourself to others. Now, success for the most part comes in roughly three different fields, three different aspects of life. There's monetary, of course. Then there's the fact of whether or not you want to become famous or recognized when you walk down the street. And then, of course, there's an emotional satisfaction that might come from completing a project that you've done to your very best of your abilities and just having that inner sense of satisfaction that you've done something, you've done a job well. So how you perceive your success in those different areas can greatly enhance or detract from the motivation that you need to write. Let's take the easiest one first. And yes, I keep looking down because I wrote notes for this. Otherwise, my brain's getting woolly as I'm getting older. So I apologize if that's distracting. But anyway, so the first one is money. It's a common benchmark for success. How much a person makes in a year, how much a person makes on a deal, all that sort of thing. Money is one of the key benchmarks we recognize in society as a success. And for authors, money traditionally comes from the sales of their work. So how much money do you consider would make your book writing efforts a success? What's your goal? Do you want to make 1 sale, 10 sales, 1,000 sales, 1,000,000? What do you see as that benchmark for success when it comes to sales? On a level playing field where all things were equal, and that barely ever happens, but, let's just put it out there as a hypothetical. Any one of these targets from 1 sale to 1,000,000 are all plausible, depending on how much time and money you put into the promotional side of your work when it's finished. However, on the flip side, in a hypothetical world, you could write a book and you could sell 1 copy of it to your eccentric grandmother who had more money than she knows what to do with. And let's say she gives you $1,000,000 because she's proud of her little Pookie. Does that make you a successful author because you've got all this money, or a very lucky grandchild? More importantly, does that make you feel like you've achieved something? Does it feel like success? Which brings us to the second side of the equation, the second aspect of being recognized or becoming famous because you're an author. Personally, I couldn't think of anything worse, but I mean, look at me. I'm hardly Insta famous, am I? But one of the things I love about living in New Zealand is the chances of me being recognized in the supermarket by a reader is like 1 in 1,000,000. Most of my books sell overseas in the UK and the US, and then to a lesser degree in Canada and Australia and across the rest of Europe as well. But I think on my social media accounts that I have, maybe 20 people live in New Zealand. So the chances of me bumping into somebody, even though New Zealand is a small country, the chances of me bumping into somebody while I was doing the weekly grocery shopping is pretty slim. And the thought, but to me, the thought of somebody saying, "Oh my God, you're Lisa Oliver, you write the God's Made Me Do It series," or whatever, it's really slim. It barely ever happens. And and that's actually important to me. I haven't got a problem with meeting any of my readers here in New Zealand, but the thought of being globally known is, no, I wouldn't like it. But then maybe that is something that's important to you. Maybe you want to be hosted on breakfast television or on podcast or influencer channels, where you can discuss the motivation of your characters and the themes that provide, the framework of your narrative. Many authors, even fiction ones, go on to become advocates for things that they're really passionate about, and which links back to their stories. And if that's what's important to you, then you're going to have to remember to promote yourself as well as your work when you finished writing it. It's doable, and probably following the people you want to have for them host you would probably be another little tip, although whether it would work or not, I don't know. But then there are a whole stack of authors who just want to say, "Hey, look, I've written a book." That in itself, that compared to the number of people who talk about writing a book, is like maybe 10% of them will actually start writing a book. Then only 10% of them will actually get that book finished. And then maybe only 10% of them will actually put that book out. So you can see, if you've gotten to that point, you've already done something amazing, because the percentage of people who actually get to that point is so very small. So good on you if you get in there. But if you've written a book and you can, design yourself a cover or get somebody to do it for you, you can upload that to Amazon. And thanks to the Amazon print on demand service, you can order author copies and actually hold them in your hands, which is an amazing feeling. Look, I have a couple here. See, this is one, Not That Kind of Demon. There's one there. And then I have Cane Shadow there, see? And see, that's my name on the bottom. This doesn't get old. I have over 100 titles, and this does not get old. So I totally understand. If that's your benchmark for success, it's actually really easy to achieve once you've finished the story. I mean, obviously, you've got to upload it to Amazon, which is free, and you want to have a cover, which, there's Photoshop these days. It's really easy to use. And then when it goes through the Amazon machine and they send you an email and it tells you that your book is now live, you can go on and in your dashboard you can order author copies. I think they cost me about $6 each plus shipping, because you're only paying, when you buy author copies, you are only paying cost. So there you go. There's a little tip. That is actually an achievable success you can do. But the thing is, in the writing industry, as with so many other industries, there are very few high flyers. Those who make it on the news with their billion-dollar deals and appearing on talk shows in designer clothing that costs more than a regular man's weekly wages, or in some cases, even their annual income. And if you're a newbie author and you see those things, those high flyers, as your marker for success, then there is a good chance you're going to be disappointed, because our social structure, for good or bad, is pretty much like a pyramid. And there's very little room at the top of that pyramid. However, I can let you in on a little secret. There are thousands of quiet little authors sitting about midstream in there, who work quietly behind the scenes. They don't make a big fuss and thing. They don't appear on talk shows or things like that. but they are perfectly happy with what they do, which is writing stories that they love, creating characters readers can relate to, and worlds that readers long to escape into. And they self-publish their work so that they get a higher percentage of their royalty income than they would do if they had a traditional publishing contract. And they sustain a comfortable lifestyle by writing regularly, promoting and creating and generating communities of readers who truly enjoy their work, and then quietly going about it as their own little business, a business they can control, a business they can expand or not as they see fit, a business they truly enjoy. It's not fast, it's not flashy, but it's a sustainable model of success. Authors like me, who do what we like, write what we like, publish when we like, because it doesn't take you, a year to get a book on the shelves when you're self-publishing. I think normally when I put up my ebook copies, ebook files to Amazon, just lately they've been ready for sale within about 2 hours. You imagine that. You imagine having, you obviously got to do the edits and everything else, but when you've done that, imagine then putting it up and then you go and have dinner or do whatever, and then you come back and you've got the email from Amazon. Your ebook is live. And then within about a day or so, you get the second email. Your paperback is live. Just like that. It's absolutely incredible. And to me, that is the purpose of these videos. That is the purpose of what I do, trying to share that achievable level of success. But what's yours? Tell me about it in the comments below. And as you skip past the description of this video, you can also check out the link for my latest release, because Fenrir's Fate came out the other day. Happy dance time. I always do that in my office chair. And if you did find this useful, please hit the like and subscribe button. YouTube is my latest effort at reaching more people to try and help them achieve what I did, because it is achievable. And I know you can do it too. So as always, hug the ones you love, my friends, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.